So
Chris.
I'm going to profile. The question was, what have they done to learn how to get around the pseudoephedrine legislation? Is that correct? Is that your question? So I'm gonna quickly scan the room and make sure that no one's taking too many notes. Y'all don't necessarily fit the profile of a local meth cook, but I mean I think that this is pretty common knowledge at this point. There's a thing called smurfing. And it's just a colloquial term for what they're doing, and some people call it a potluck, where they're all getting together and buying the legal limit of pseudoephedrine, and then once everybody's got 3 grams or 9 grams of the legal limit for pseudoephedrine, then they'll bring it to the local cook. And the local cook is now saying, you cannot buy from me as the cook unless you bring me pseudoephedrine. They're also learning how to pay local crackheads that don't care anything about pseudoephedrine or methamphetamine. They'll give them a $20 bill. They'll go out and buy a box of pseudoephedrine, and they'll take it to the local cook, and they'll keep the change. And so everybody's kind of benefiting from all that. Because of these new organized smaller units where they're saying, you can't buy from me unless you bring me pseudoephedrine, but if you do bring me pseudoephedrine, I'll give you a free quarter gram, which is about $25 worth, much more than the cost of pseudoephedrine. But pseudoephedrine is such a premium now, they're willing to pay a whole lot more for it because there's such a huge markup for methamphetamine. You can spend about $200 and make a couple of thousand pretty easily. And so there's plenty of investment capital and all that to make a lot of money off of it. But with all this organizing, and what's cool is that there's cops that are getting really good at seeing this smurfing that's going on as soon as it's happening. And when it's a slow day at the police department, they decided that they want to try to investigate a meth lab today, when usually they're only going to spend a couple of days on it, because if you spend more longer than that, then you've kind of exhausted your resources and you got to move on to something else. They'll go to Walmart and they'll sit down on the bench out there, and they'll just watch people pile out of a car, and they'll see them kind of all go through the store in different directions, but they'll all come back to a couple of registers with the same ingredients, and they'll have a few bottles of solvents and some matches and some batteries and some other stuff, and everybody's going to have a box of pseudoephedrine, and then they'll wait till they get in their car, and then they'll wait till they don't use their blinker or something, and they'll pull them over and they'll check them, and they'll have all the supplies you need to make meth. That organized smurfing is how they're getting around the pseudoephedrine legislation.